Your dog did something for you today that you didn't notice. Then they did it again and again. None of it looked like protection, which is exactly why you missed all of it. Because we've got the wrong picture. Protection is supposed to be a big dog on a chain with its teeth out. The real thing is quiet enough to happen 3 feet from you and never register. A head lifting off the floor, where they choose to lie down. Decision they made about your brother-in-law in 4 seconds and have never once revisited. 8 of these. 2 things first. Number 4 is the one that stops people. Researchers at Kyoto University offered dogs free food. No catch, no training. The dogs refused it from one specific person over something that person did to their owner and not to them. And one of these 8 isn't protection at all. It looks identical, it means something completely different. And the way people normally react to it makes it worse. That's number 6. One last thing. If your dog is in the room with you right now, don't call them. Just look at where they've put themselves. Remember it. We'll start outside the house and work in number 1. Sign 1. They heard it before you did. You've seen this one 100 times and filed it under nothing. Your dog is asleep. Then the head comes up. Not the body, just the head, and the ears rotate toward the front of the house. They're staring at a blank wall. You listen, and there's nothing there. 90 seconds later, a car door shuts outside. Here's the equipment you're up against. You hear from about 20 Hz up to 20,000. Your dog runs from about 67 up to 45,000. And in the band where the world's small mechanical sounds live, latches and keys and hinges, and a car door 2 streets over, they don't just hear higher than you. They hear quieter, 10 or 15 decibels below your floor. Those sounds aren't faint to your dog. They aren't happening to you at all. But here's the second layer, and it's the opposite of what you'd expect. At one part of this, you're better than they are. A human places a sound to within about 1 degree. A dog averages closer to 7. So your dog gets the alert long before you and then can't tell exactly where it came from, which explains something most owners find mildly annoying. They don't lie there and listen. They get up. Window, then door, then back. That isn't restlessness. That's a dog closing an ambiguity the only way it closes, by going and looking. So every time that head lifts and drops again, something got checked and cleared. You never knew there was anything to check. Sign 2. They don't sleep in the comfortable spot. Your dog can sleep anywhere in your house. There's a bed you paid too much for. There's a patch of sun. And a lot of nights, they're lying across a doorway on a hard floor, which is objectively the worst real estate in the building. Look at what a doorway is. It's a threshold. One position that covers the way into a room and holds a line on everyone inside it. If you had one body to place and you wanted to watch a house with the fewest moves, you'd put it there too. And here's the part that gets me. The safest spot for a dog is a corner, backed by 2 walls, nothing able to come from behind. That's what an animal takes when it's looking after itself. A doorway is the opposite, open on both sides. It's the worst spot for them and the best spot for coverage, and they take it anyway. They didn't pick the comfortable spot, they picked the useful one. So tonight, notice where your dog settles. Is it the coziest place in the house, or the one with the best view of the way in? Sign 3, the warding you never hear. A low huff from the hallway, almost under their breath. Not a bark. You barely register it, and if you do, you say what, and they don't do it again. Dogs run an escalation ladder, and it has far more rungs at the bottom than most owners realize. Stillness first, they simply stop moving, then a hard stare, then that low huff, then a rumble you feel more than hear. The bark is near the top. The bark is late, so by the time you hear anything at all, your dog has already tried 3 quieter things and got no result. And the whole structure exists to make something back off without anybody having to touch anybody. Behaviorists have made this point for decades, going back to Turid Rugos and her work on calming signals. This is a communication system. It is not an aggression system, which leads to the most useful sentence in this video. Never punish a growl. A growl is a smoke alarm. Shout at your dog for growling consistently enough, and you don't get a dog who feels safer. You get a dog who has learned that the warning is what gets them in trouble. So they stop giving it, and a dog with no rungs left at the bottom of the ladder is the dog people describe afterwards as having bitten with no warning. There's always a warning. Sometimes it's just been trained out of the dog by somebody who thought they were teaching manners. Quick thing before number 4, because 4 is the one I promised you, and it's the best thing in this video. If you want to actually understand what your dog is doing, subscribe to Portold. That's the whole channel. Sign 4. They are keeping a list of people. You introduced your dog to somebody once, and your dog just wouldn't take the treat, wouldn't settle in the room with them. And you apologized and said they're normally so friendly. They were fine. They just finished deciding. In 2015, a team at Kyoto University ran an experiment with 54 dogs. Each dog watched their owner sit at a table and struggle to get a clear container open. 2 other people sat nearby. The owner turned to one of them and asked for help. In one version, that person helped. In the other, they turned away and refused. And then, this is the part, both of those people offered the dog a treat. Dogs who'd watched somebody help took food from anyone, no hesitation. Dogs who'd watched somebody refuse their owner turned that person down. Below chance. The paper puts it at p equals 0.023. Now look at what's missing from that. The refuser never did a single thing to the dog, never threatened it, never took anything from it, was never once unkind to it. And the food was free. Your dog turned down free food to hold a grudge on your behalf. That's called third-party social evaluation. And before this study, it was something we'd mostly documented in humans and a couple of primate species. Dogs do it. Cats, and this has been tested, don't. So you're being defended in a courtroom you didn't know was in session. And what's being judged isn't whether somebody was nice to your dog. It's whether they were decent to you. So the next time your dog is strange about somebody, not proof, but they watched something you weren't paying attention to, and they scored it. All right, remember what I asked you to look at right at the start. Where your dog had put themselves, look again. Not whether they're near you, where they are in relation to the door and which way their head is pointing. 9 times out of 10, they're between you and the only way into that room. They were like that before you pressed play. Nobody asked them to do it, nobody trained it, and they'll do it again tomorrow without ever being thanked for it. Sign 5. They walk differently on a street they don't know. On your usual route, your dog walks wherever they like. Out front, nose down, barely aware you exist. Take them somewhere new, or the same route after dark, and something shifts. They drop back to your leg, or they move to your outside, closer to the road, closer to whatever's coming. But the position change isn't the interesting part. Watch what happens immediately before it. They look at you. It's called social referencing. In a situation a dog can't read alone, they check the person they trust and use your reaction as the data. Work from the University of Lincoln shows dogs combine what they see in a face with what they hear in a voice into one single read on an emotional state. They aren't guessing off one channel, they're integrating. So on a dark street, the real sequence is dog meets ambiguity, dog checks you, dog rearranges themselves around your answer. They're not responding to the street. They're responding to what your body just told them about the street, which cuts both ways. Your calm is load-bearing. Spot a big dog coming, shorten the leash, hold your breath, and you've filed a report. Loose leash, keep walking, keep breathing, and you've filed a different one. Your dog can't evaluate that stranger. They can evaluate you instantly and constantly, and most owners have no idea how much they're broadcasting. Sign 6, the one that isn't protection. This is the one I promised you, and it's the reason I wanted to make this video instead of just a nice list, same behavior on the surface. Your dog is on the couch with you. Your partner sits down. Your dog goes stiff. Or somebody reaches past you and there's a rumble and a body arrives between you and them. Everyone in the house reads that as protective. It's flattering. It's also, very often, wrong. Protection is about a situation. Something is happening, a stranger, a noise, an unfamiliar street, and the dog responds to it. The body stays loose, they stay mobile, and when the situation resolves, it switches off, all the way off. And they go back to being a dog. Resource guarding is about you. You're not the one being protected. You're the thing being kept. And it looks different once you know what you're looking at. Stiff, not loose. Still, not mobile. Low and freezing, a hard eye, maybe a lifted lip. It gets worse the closer somebody comes, rather than better when the moment passes. And here's the tell that matters most. It happens with people your dog knows perfectly well. In your own house. On an ordinary Tuesday. When nothing is wrong. That's the point. There's no threat to resolve, so it never switches off. A dog doing this isn't confident. It's anxious. It has concluded that access to you is a scarce resource that has to be defended, and everybody around it reads that as loyalty and rewards it, which makes it worse. Every time. The fix is mostly the opposite of what people do. Don't punish it. See number 3. Stop it being a competition. The person being growled at becomes the source of everything good, the food, the treats, the leash. And give your dog somewhere comfortable to be that isn't on top of you. A bed beside the couch rather than the couch. If you're seeing freezing stiffness or teeth, get a credentialed behaviorist involved, not a board and train and not somebody with a shock collar. This is fixable, usually faster than people expect, and it does not fix itself. Being able to tell the two apart is the most protective thing you can do for them. 7 of these are your dog standing guard over you. This one is you standing guard over them. Sign 7, they will come and get you. In 2020, a team at Arizona State published something in PLOS ONE that I think about more than I probably should. 60 pet dogs. Ordinary ones. No training, no search and rescue background, family dogs. Each owner was shut inside a large box with a light door. The dog could move aside if it worked out how. And the owner sat in there and called for help. About a third of the dogs got that door open and got to their person. Now, a third sounds low. Hold on, because they ran a control. Same box, same door, but with food inside instead of a human. And only 19 of the 60 managed to open it for food at all. The door was hard. The door was the bottleneck the whole time. And among the dogs who'd already proven they could work the thing out, they were 8 times more likely to open it for their person. But that isn't the part. The part is the dogs who failed. They weren't indifferent. They were measurably more distressed when their owner was calling for help than when that same owner sat in that same box, calmly reading a book out loud. They whined, they paced, they barked at a box. The researchers' conclusion was that the dogs who didn't open it weren't lacking the will. They were lacking the answer. It was a comprehension problem, not a caring problem. So somewhere in that data, there's a dog going frantic outside a door it cannot solve, while the person it loves most calls its name from the other side. That's the most loyal thing in this entire video, and it failed the test. Sign 8. The last thing to switch off, which brings us to the last one. And if you take one image away from this video, make it this one. Find an old dog, 14, 15. The hips are gone. Getting up is a whole procedure now. A shuffle of the front legs, a pause to gather it, and the back end comes up last and badly. They sleep through most of the day. Their hearing is half what it was. Somebody knocks at the front door, and they get up. Not quickly. It takes a while, and it visibly costs them something, and you can watch them doing the arithmetic on whether the body is going to cooperate this time. But they do it, and they walk out into the hall. And they stand between the door and you. They cannot do anything. Everybody in the room knows that, and I suspect on some level the dog knows it too. They go anyway. And that's the thing I actually wanted you to understand about all 8 of these. It was never a skill, and it was never a job. It doesn't degrade with the joints, or the ears, or the eyes. It sits underneath all of that. It's the very last thing to switch off. 15,000 years ago, some wolves came closer to our fires than wolves had any business coming, and nobody has ever fully explained why it worked as well as it did. Whatever it was, a guard isn't what we ended up with. Guards can be hired. Guards quit. We ended up with something stranger. An animal that picks one specific human early on evidence nobody else can see and then never reopens the question. Not when the human gets old, or difficult, or sad, or forgets to fill the bowl. Not when the dog gets old either. So here's the last thing, and then I'll let you go. Your dog isn't on duty because your house is dangerous. Your house is not dangerous. They're on duty because you're in it. If you know somebody whose dog sleeps in the doorway instead of the expensive bed they bought them, send them this. They've been walking over that every night for years without knowing what it was. And tell me in the comments about number 4. The person your dog decided about before you did. I want to know whether your dog turned out to be right. I read all of them. Subscribe to Port Old, and I'll see you in the next one.